What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to answer the question why I wear a white sport coat all the time. And a lot of it has to do with personal branding. I was really fortunate to be on one of my friend's online podcasts. He went live on Facebook. His name is Robert Courtney. Check out his stuff, linked in the description below. And he asked me the question about branding and wearing the white sport coat because I actually met him at an event. I was at Con, I was one of the keynote speakers, and I was wearing the white sport coat. And it's one of those things that just sort of stands out in a crowd. Oftentimes people normally wear a startup t-shirt, or they're wearing a suit, or they're wearing quote-unquote normal people clothes, and I roll with the white sport coat. And there's a lot of reasons why I do it today in 2020 and beyond, but if you rewind about 5 years ago, the origin story for MySwimPro and wearing the white sport coat really formulated at Tech Week Chicago. In 2015, I was with Adam Oxner, one of my co-founders, and we were repping the white sport coat. But I won't tell you too much. I'll save it for this segment from the interview. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Ksebati. I'm the co-founder and CEO of MySwimPro. And in the last 5 years or so, we've built MySwimPro to be a global technology and media company with a distributed team that spans over 10 different time zones. In this series, I help entrepreneurs take their business to the next level. And if you have an idea for starting a company and you're not really sure what to do next, you've come to the right place because I share the right tips and tricks and the right entrepreneurial mindset that you need to take action. In this video, I talk about the white sport coat and why personal branding is important. So please enjoy the interview with Robert Courtney. It's really funny. I haven't been wearing it as much because I haven't been leaving the house. So it's good to kind of get it back on and get that feel of that sport coat. So the story about it, and you're right, I actually have worn it a lot. Like, you know, it's become a part of my brand personally, with the business, with everything. I wear the white sport coat with the blue shirt. And if the story actually, it was sort of intentional, but not really. So if we roll back to 2015, okay, so we were talking about taking action. We don't even have a product yet. So this was, at this point, we hadn't launched on iOS yet. One of my co-founders and I, we went to Chicago for Tech Week Chicago. So we go to Chicago, and it's a typical conference. It's a startup conference. There's like every startup has a little booth, and everyone at these types of things, everyone wears the same thing. They basically wear their startup t-shirt, like, you know, whether for us it would be this, you know, they wear their t-shirt, and then maybe if they want to get fancy, they'll put on a sport coat over the t-shirt. Like, we've all seen this type of tech mogul look. So at the moment, we didn't even have an app. We had a video demo on an iPad. That was our booth. And then we had like a swim cap on our table. And I'm like, you know what? There's gonna be like 100 different startups, and how are we gonna stand out? Like, we kind of felt like useless in a sense. Like, what are we? Should we be there? So how do we stand out? We don't have any collateral. Like, we're not gonna hand out pens or anything. So I thought, you know what? I was like sitting there looking at my closet, and I had a white sport coat. Not this one exactly, but I had a white sport coat. I'm like, you know what? Like, jokingly, what if I like wore that white sport? It would look good contrast with the blue and the white. You know, like, it would look good. Like, that was just as a joke. I would like, let me do that. So I look at the closet. I'm like, oh, let me put it on. So I put it on. And this was like right before we went to Chicago. And I'm like, huh, this looks pretty cool. Let me run it by the guys. So at the time, we were actually supposed, this is crazy, we were supposed to have 4 people go to Chicago. So I go to Macy's the next day to buy them white sport coats because they didn't have a white sport coat. So I'm in Macy's, I'm like taking pictures, like, do you want a medium, do you want a large? Like, what do you think is good? If it's me. So I end up buying one, and then only 2 of us could have made the trip anyway. So long story short, I end up going to Macy's for no reason. So we have the white sport coats, and it's Adam and I, my co-founders. So we have the booth, and we're standing there wearing these white sport coats, and like everyone is looking at us. Like, it stands out so much. And so people, like, they thought we were doctors because people were confusing these with like medical, you know, shout out to all the healthcare professionals, but we are not doctors. So we're wearing these white sport coats, and people are like, they want to talk to us. They're like, so what are you guys doing? Like, what's the thing? And people were so interested, more than they would have if we were just wearing a t-shirt. And I think having something in a sea of everyone wearing a black sport coat or a t-shirt, and all of a sudden you have 2 guys wearing a white sport coat in the mix of all of this at a booth, it's like, they must be doing something interesting. They must be interesting people. So it differentiates you in an interesting way, and because of that, you stick in people's mind. It builds your brand, and whether you like it or not, like when you're differentiated, as long as you're not completely crazy or silly, it's like a balance of being professional and being interesting. So that happened, and I didn't think too much of it. You know, the photos looked really interesting, and I was on stage. I gave a pitch in the semifinal, and I did it in the white sport coat with black pants and, you know, the shirt, and everyone was probably paying attention to me more than the other people that were presenting, just because, he's wearing a white sport coat. It's not white season or whatever. So that was like 2015, and then nothing really happened. But then the next opportunity I had to present, or like there was some other startup thing in Detroit, and I'm like, you know what? I guess I should wear the same outfit that I wore in Chicago because people liked it. So then like one thing led to the next, and I just kept on wearing it. And then soon enough, it became part of my brand. And then it got to a point when we were doing the fundraising in 2017. Maybe that's when we met, actually. I was in a lot of different events, and I was wearing it every single time. And people in Detroit knew me as the guy in the white sport coat. They didn't know like what I did, who I was, but they're like, "Oh, that guy. He's the startup guy with the white sport coat." And that's when I really felt like, wow, that's like, and they would say like, "Oh, I saw you on LinkedIn with the white sport coat," and I'm like, "Yep, that was me." Yep. So I think that has stuck. And although, you know, it kind of is a little bit different now, like with how I'm doing stuff media wise, but I'll still wear it if it makes sense. So it's just part of the brand at this point, personally and for the company. I hope you guys enjoyed that little segment of the interview. Like I said, the full interview, you can check it out linked in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and keep hustling.